Yabo kwaba from Adom TV, Premotobre Kasee no so afa yenya brena yentie said ensam ni twemu ankasa etie Ghana mampani na adodankwa Akufo-Addo anura wona ne manfo hia di enkomo kire ye woman Ghana mu COVID-19 womo ewo bie sesia pa no ye ka mampani se ejina 1847 wodin sam no eto edwano ne nkasa mu no womo a recover no hamunchemu aduokono enum ena wonya bi nanso nyame adom won ho atumi ato womo cases ya record yes say no 40,567 ya womo ho atumi ato womo ye ka womo ho ato womo a eno no ensam no Adom TV edeba
Ghana mampanyi adodankwa Akufo-Addo adane de sesei enipa wonum enya coronavirus yare ni bi ewo man mu no eya apem baako aha wotwe ene aduanan enson wode tuja sesei enipa won ho atimi ato wo mu coronavirus yare no ho no ejino hamu nchichemu aduokunu num ya eno kyese enipa empem aduanan ahanum ene aduosia enson ena sesei won ho ato wo wɔkyere mu a sesei enipa wonum ewo north east savannah Upper East and Upper West Mantam Honedie, and Yadia will be our COVID-19 Yareni be ewo.
As of Saturday, 15th August, 3 weeks later, the number of active cases stands at 1,847. This is a clear indication that government policies are working. Currently, there are no recorded COVID-19 cases in the Northeast, Savannah, Upper East, and Upper West regions. And I charge their residents to do everything possible to maintain that situation. Thus far, a total of 40,567 persons have recovered from the virus. This means our recovery rate has improved from 89.5% to 95.1% in 3 weeks.
Okoswa eka Ghana for say bia nkoso na COVID-19 hyehyeye no woni so se ne bia yare no obetimi etu ase akura.
Our health workers will forever be in our debt for the dedication they have put in to ensure these impressive statistics. We can help them even further by continuing to adhere to the social distancing and hygiene protocols we have instituted to stem the tide of infections.
Wasan so editu ja say hwehwemu bi a o man panyinfo eyeye no eda na de say enipa dodo na ene wo face mask bie nanso anya de a wonom ehye anaso mpo say wonom enhye ne yie kura.
With 82% of persons surveyed possessing a mask, I believe we can do even more and better and reach 100%. However, the same survey demonstrated that only 44.3% of those who have the mask use them correctly. I urge each and every one of us to wear our masks and do so correctly anytime we leave our homes.
Yantoa mampani kasaya no so na no so sade to ye nim kire mo August bosome de to so adonu nai eye university fo a womo ewomu dada no wo betumi akọ na fei womo akọ akosua ade ni nyina no hyehyɛ ahodo wo ho mo de atona kwan so sebe ya womanfo akyerɛkyerɛfo school fo womo de bebo ho ban free yade coronavirus.
Nanu kwasiada ebra mampanyi adodankwa Akufo-Addo ene Ghanafo enya nhyiemudi a etoso dunum no wode tuja se efi August busumi ne da etoso aduonu nan no adesuafo a wonom ewosuapo mu ebehya ase akwakoto wonom adesua so.
After consultations, the decision has been taken for continuing students in these tertiary institutions to return to school on 24th August to finish their academic year. Just as was done for final year students who return to school, government through the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service will ensure that all these tertiary institutions are disinfected. Universities will be equipped with the necessary personal protective equipment, and those with their own hospitals and clinics will have isolation centers to deal with any positive cases. All other institutions without their own clinics and hospitals will be mapped to health facilities.
nkitahodie ni mu no ɔmanpanyin ɛsan so de to dwa sɛ wɔne enipa bi a wɔnom ka bi a ɛwɔ mu ɛwɔ adesua ho nsɛm mu eguso a ɛyɛ nhyiamudie na ɔmahwɛ bere a obetumi ɛde abie school ama adesuafo akɔ akosua wɔnom adeɛ.
The Ministry of Education continues to engage the Ghana Education Service and all relevant stakeholders to conclude discussions on the modalities surrounding the opening of our pre-tertiary schools. I will communicate in due course the decisions that will be reached from these consultations. You can be rest assured that I'll always take into prime consideration the safety and well-being of our children, teachers, and non-teaching staff in the decisions that will be taken, because I'm determined to ensure that the education of our children is not unduly disturbed by this pandemic.
Premotobre Kasee na gusua o shadow yento aso mampanin kasa enra one ne manfo di ho enkomo no no ode ato aso ye share gender children and social protection eso se nyame eyi Adom 24th edikosi 18 September won share na junior high school final year student no yema womo aduane ye papa hot meal a day sabe ya de ebebo won ho ban fi se wonya no nti se enkura no komo de womo na coronavirus ho so she womo ni so efi se komo nti ni ade sabe ye entempetente ena mampani aye san hye ya Adom TV edeba
Omampani Adodankwa Ekufuado ashe Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection say if August bosumi Midday to so aduonu 9 edikosi September bosumi to so du woche no enkoda ya wonum ewo junior high school eni wonum adumayefo nyina no sesei omomode asede bia no obema wonum aduane edi.
As a result of reports I have recently received that some final year JHS students were going hungry in complying with COVID-19 protocols, I've just instructed the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection to begin preparations to ensure that as from 24th August up to 18th September, all 584,000 final year JHS students and 146,000 staff, both in public and private schools, be given one hot meal a day. This is to ensure full observance of the COVID-19 safety protocol.
Science said to just say, Sabri mu coronavirus area no etu etise o wiase afana nyina no wogidi se amani padodo na ana akwa ahokyere mu eno nti eniama ahodo a aban ede kyeche no enye se bia wahyeda eno de kyeche ne mum e aban ne mu a obetimi ede aboa ne manfo.
I know that the pandemic has adversely affected many lives and livelihoods. It is for this reason the government has implemented several measures, such as free water and electricity, and funding to support small businesses, and tax relief, amongst others, to cushion the effect of the pandemic. We are not providing freebies. We're providing critical help to households, families, and businesses in the midst of this pandemic because we care. It is my conviction that in times of crises, it is the duty of a responsible and sensitive government to protect the population and provide relief.
Now, what's answering we more no? Yesheni mo Ghana National Association of Private Schools. Yene woman penny for mu bi bekasa yenya won. Si yenya won mu ade won so hunu asemi efa ene so won asomo no yene nyina nso beba. Bra Facebook/Adom TV. Fa comment ni go ho bra no so a ye de betu dwa. Ye beto so woman penny nkasa ye na nso emu na ene de ye guso a ye twen ahwe se September bosome de di kan ye mbodesa wodo no ye bebie mu asede no a bampani Adodankwa editu dwa no womuguso ene mpanifo womu safata se womutu womufo no eguso den edi enkomo ahwe se bibia wiemu de anene September bosome de di kan de bia ne ye bie se de okan no eni
Ebra Mampenny Ekufuado, any Ghana for any Ankitahudia ne Penya, etosu dunumuno, or the two just say, and paying for a yansha yese, Bosumi September, ye babirim neda edi kaino, one bit me a B airport, was signed so edited just say, and paying for a yansha yese me beya, ubi biara ubi free manoni ababi recruimuno, ubit me attestino, I have said o coronavirus ya rini bi, sene beya, and Shiashie and sign interview. Yes, he say, Ministry of Aviation, any Ghana Civil Aviation. Any ashe ya ehwe apomuden ho nsem so edin kita ho se ne be ya obetimi ahwe hunu se Ghana ya ahboa ta obebie airport no ana.
I know many still ask whether our borders, especially our international airport, Kotoka International Airport, will be open. Under my instructions, the Ministry of Aviation, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and the Ghana Airports Company Limited have been working with the Ministry of Health and its agencies to ascertain our readiness to reopen our airport. I want to ensure that we are in a position to test every single passenger that arrives in the country to avoid the spread of the virus. The outcome of that exercise will show us the way and determine when we can reopen our border by air. I'm hoping that by God's grace, we'll be ready to do so by the 1st of September. Until further notice, our borders by air, land, and sea remain closed to human traffic. For Ghana residents stranded abroad, special dispensation will continue to be given for their evacuation back to Ghana, where they will be subjected to the mandatory quarantine and safety protocols.
Omanpenny Adodanko Ekufuado esan so edi to just say sisei enipa dodo anko betimi edi ahyiamu ewo dwumadie biase no wasan amasubium edi akoso.
The limit on the number of persons who can attend conferences, workshops, and award events has now been lifted, subject to the maintenance of social distancing amongst participants, fresh air ventilation of the premises, and a 2-hour limit for each session.
Premotobre Kasee na guswa ocean yensan kwachi na de mampani kan yefa ene public ene private schools sa yebema womo aduane August bosume de to so dunu enan ekosi September 18th no yankwana president da Ghana National Association of Private Schools one president yede no eni enkomo yenkwa homa no. So good afternoon and welcome to Adom TV Midday News.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to your listeners.
Thank you so much. So please, how do you welcome this news or statement from President?
Yes, thank you. Indeed, it is refreshing to hear that government now plans and thinks about private schools in their planning and execution of education policies. We are all aware of the situation in which private schools are right now, a situation where because of the long closure of schools, many private schools are facing difficulties. And one of the areas of difficulty is how to provide food for the Form 3 students at the GHS and SHS level. So to the extent that the president thinks about providing a hot meal for private school candidates, I think it is welcome news. It is very welcome news, and we hope that it can be well implemented.
So now you are working with the Gender Ministry. Have you been meeting or being today Monday? Have you met the minister and the way forward?
We are still waiting for them to come out with modalities for carrying out this directive of the president. Of course, it was only last night that the announcement was made. We still do not have the details about how they will go around it. Our only hope is that the food will not be provided from a centralized point. A few of our members are already calling to find out how it will be done. But we are hoping that the best way forward will be for resources to be provided to the private schools to provide the food on their own, or at best some raw foods for the schools to cook on their own rather than cooked food from some centralized point being distributed around the schools. There will be a lot of difficulties with that kind of system.
Okay, so teachers were not left out. Are you also okay with it?
Yeah, absolutely. The teachers can also teach on empty stomachs. And because we have not been able to pay their salaries over the past 5 months, it's really difficult for our staff who are working in the schools to ensure that the children are prepared for the exams. So in thinking about providing food for candidates, it's in the right direction that we should think about the staff as well, because they can't come to school and work on empty stomachs and still be able to deliver for our children to pass their exams.
Okay, Doc. So now it's about the reopening of school. What do you want the government to do about it? Should it be open now or then next year?
Yeah, we have made our position very clear. And you see, when the president was addressing the nation yesterday, he indicated that the active cases now are just a little over 1,000. So there is simply no justification for schools to remain closed. We have reached a point where we must all learn to get back to work and be able to battle with the virus. So we are not expecting anything anytime beyond September for reopening of schools. We are very much hopeful that after the university students have gone back, I guess on 24th of August,
yes,
the rest will have to follow. The preschool, the basic schools, senior high schools,
Doc,
all will have to follow in that order in September.
Doc, wearing of nose masks is not easy even for adults. So how much more kids? How can they wear it for maybe 2 or more hours? Do you think they can cope with it?
No, I mean, we have experimented this. Remember that we have final year JHS students are back in school. When they were coming back to school, it was always the same questions about how can children wear nose masks? How can they observe social distancing?
They are different from the kids.
I can even challenge you that kids are able to wear the mask longer than those of us who are adults and particularly the aged. You see, because they are able to breathe more easily with the mask on than those of us who are getting old.
Doc, are you talking from being a doctor or like how you see?
No. I'm not a medical doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have a doctorate in philosophy.
Okay.
Yes, but I am saying it from observation and from the little reading I've also done around. I am a school owner, a school manager. I have observed how the kids wear their nose masks, how they are able to settle down in class, how we are able to control them to enforce social distancing and washing of hands. You see, we've been able to do all of this quite well with the final years. And we have come to a point where we know, we are very confident that if these children come back to school, we will work and ensure that the COVID-19 doesn't spread among our school children.
But Doc, before I leave you, some parents are also saying it's because of your selfish interest, you want money and stuff. That's why you are pushing for school to be reopened.
I'm sure that it's very few parents who may be saying that. The vast majority of parents that we have interacted with support the resumption of academic work. Look, It's the parents that we will be assisting more than anyone else if we reopen schools. It's parents will be assisting. Why am I saying that? There are many parents who find it difficult now going to work, knowing very well that their kids are at home and probably there's no one to take care of their kids. There are parents who go to work and the children leave home. They don't know where the children are going to go to. They don't know what the children engage in while they are away. No one should ever think that it's because of our parochial business interests that we are calling for the opening of schools. Because you see, if schools reopen prematurely and the COVID-19 begin to surge again, what is going to happen is that they will close down schools for a much longer period of time. We know that. And we cannot risk asking them to reopen schools when the time is not ripe and mature for reopening of schools. It's just that we have done our analysis. We think that the time is ripe. And we are also concerned about the negative effect of this long closure on our academic, not just the academic calendar, but the academic output of our children. Yes. These are the reasons why we are calling for resumption of academic work. It's not because of our businesses collapsing.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your time this afternoon.
Yeah, it's an honor speaking on your stage.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Na Ghana National Private Schools Association, one mujam tineni, and I would say any no edi enkomono. Eduane femo no woman ni aje ho na se yemie school no. Wom susu se yemie fi se enkra no kra no ebetimi ahye nose mask no krampo yie asen se bi yempo empanifo no sankomo we na ewa o se edi ho nkomo bebre ni anim se mpanifo so tu ho anamon yebete brepote a mofra no ebeko school yebeto Premotobre Kasee no eso na ohene a wono ewo omampe ewo awin mensimo wo Western North na opon panyin ya wotoso miensa ene the assembly no ene wo bo wo mo kwan adu so wo mo na ma kwan ma China adwumaku abakro no mo na otu Galamsey said the ensomnity no Adom TV Kasee edeba
Ipa ba kwa wode sobo abo ohene a owo omanpe ya ewo awowin mensin ni mu Western North Mantamu ni mu ene Jerry Blay na ebra wo ba adwaso nsem dwumadie so no wode sobo abo na opon panyini a wotoso miensa se wono ena wone Galamsey fuo bi aka wonti apam ho asese wotu Galamsey ewo school a ewo omanpe krodua ni mu
Babia omo asi school dan for Franca school kola no kwakwa na mu no ani mu pe be ka kwa ho eye elubu enchiru ekwa no pe ti omo tusa ma akakra bi na kwaje se ukuta ka akwa nya ga wetu ndi euro school ho eno so ho eye ahimfie eye nanana owo no eye nana opon pan ya otoso yenu a oye tipu hene wo awowi traditional council atankunya no so na himfie ho a ni so bi da ni mu ye Victoria eno so no modi ta home sia no se so no eba sia ebra yi mu so no nto enti ama so ni na re by force aya pete ahimfie na ni mo ni na so omo are ta ma ukubna ho kra rebe the moment de e yo hin nan kasa no na so ni omo leji enti eno de even kwa no kuma no na no class of committee bia o ha
na bra na opon panyin a wotoso miensa ebeyi nano ewo dwumadie no so no wakire mu se esa ne se nsuo to a eyiri fa wo mo ewo mpotamu ho no mo na nso wakwa assembly ni nanso mpen bebre na won fi won ti ena ma wone Galamsey fo no eye adwene se wo metu Galamsey ewo school ho no se ne ebe ya wo betimi asoso nsuo a eyiri fa krom ho no ano
se metanse sa adwuma no mo eye ni mani ehu ye anamenyim ho bia na meboa na ya wo mo ye municipal assembly na wo antifo no ya wo omape ne no party am omo empire enye na ya ma za asem we na ba sa ne se maybe atwa mu kono wo ba ma hinti ha nsuo tumi yiri efo mo omo ti ahimfie la ne so ni nyina ebubu omo dan me de sa report wi ekoma na dmo ewo anti MC mi ba ite ne ma ne be hwe omoko ya mo anu djuma bia djuma on be di ni so mo de emo na e de brown crop so mo ncha ni two caps so ni yiri ha me man no egu me so se nsuo ni de se ya njo ho djuma ni a be ha be blu nti e wo ma na ayigamse ni ba se mo obetumi di abo ani se yamma no enada ti suo no enko to akiri ba bi emaye na sesia opanyin mete betumi anya sika edia fuel excavator beye 2 months adwuma metumi na ne ese nipa no eye ne se so oda betu nsuo na obetu Galamsey wakiri ho owi a wafere asase no mansuo no afiri ho sesi ame no woka sei nkwafo na tumi aye sa adwuma no mansuo no sesi ano na nsan ku atoto bebrebe ina nsuo na tumi ama ha.
Superintendent Bernard Akotoji ene ye enchi Mensini Police Commander na wono so ba adwumadie no so no enchiremu sei ena wodi ti.
On the 11th of this month, the MP was passing through the road and saw that some people were walking close to Mape JHS. So he called and went in to arrest them. Now, in the evening, we discussed about it with the MP, and we decided that the lives of the students may be in danger because the JHS students are still preparing for their DC. So there's a need for them to reclaim the land immediately.
Ya to Premotobre Kasee no so na yakọ yensem foforo emu na aban se Ghana aban se waye krado se wobeye die obetumi ebia na trade eye adwadie wo free trade agreement a ye ede aba ye hwe animu se January 2021 ehye ase no wode ebema na Foreign Affairs Minister Shiashie Yokobochi and this handsome way to Jabra wo shia Secretary General at the Emma African Continental Free Trade and who enkomodie ase.
First Minister Shelley Ayoko Buchi at the Sarah Chichi Semi Emma First Secretary General Emma African Continental Trade Area. What Chiremuse Ghana ya huboa wadin sheshe bebre egu akwan se ne be ya sa adwumadie no obetimi edru hu.
This is probably the most important AU institution because from the very onset of the OAU to the AU, one of the key things on the agenda has been the trade, economic integration and trade, intra-African trade, because we all agree that this is what will propel us into the self-reliant, developed Africa that we all want.
His Excellency Wamkele Mene, Ediabaswadi ma Oman Ghana say, a Bibia Yama Pan African Honsem in here in Sawamai.
The fact that Ghana has been awarded by the Assembly of Heads of States the right to host the one of the main flagship projects of the African Union, which is the FCFTA Secretariat, speaks volumes about this country, the history of Pan-Africanism that would be incomplete without Ghana in the vanguard. And so it is an absolute honor for me to be the first Secretary General in Accra, in Ghana, consistent with that spirit of Pan-Africanism.
We can one premier no ne one awotwe mienu so and a school for Ghana School of Hygiene. One more akwa won sesen or Sanitation Ministry. One more atnaye ni nyina gina say from 2017 ebepem ne wo mala wan sanya de sempenfo ede ama wo mutisi emfama wo modia wo mo beye we ya kosi sempenfo ebetie won sufre Prince Owusu Siedu etwaso.
Hygiene student I want to free a year whole tamale any enkran ana samre amene Kasee o ma ba be piem e Ministry of Sanitation, Water and Resources. The omo dia be piem wo hane say for 3 years yenti omo allowance emfa mom entimene Kasee omo de omo mattress aba begua omo de omo support omo duane e de abegu ministry amene Kasee omo kire say omo ba be da etisempenifo amfa omo 3 years allowance na amoma enya ade a omo beko last 2 weeks ana omo ba ha ena amene Kasee omo san ade aba ha yene omo leader a odo monim aye Fiat Owusu Ampoma or SRC president edema School of Hygiene ewo Kolebu ebe twetwenkom
last 2 weeks no Deputy Minister of Finance any Kasee say Madam Abena say any Kasee say let be abedin in China from Minister of Sanitation Aduma. Now what we check kind say oh for the constituency bar the following Monday the Shiano that was Monday na etwa ya akoya na oni entrance na yen hye ya obefa so chase kan na your friend Monday and upon na okache say oh obese okasa phone so because say about information no and the same thing and okache say Lieutenant Sanitation Ministry any bra o no budget bia ni wa eka ho a obetie ka
I don't know, yes, sir. You're Ghana for now. So, no, I don't see a citizen of this country. I don't remember country. You're born to say Ghana. You're Kasee, say Ghana. And we are health trainees for 3 good years. Muslim processing. And they had them processing. I don't know, yes, sir. I don't know, yes, sir. Almost so, you better compliment my Jessica. So, we can see you be why you be one mama who say Jessica.
I brought any students here, Kasani, who say, Director of Finance and Administration, Edema, Ministry of Sanitation, Ora Joseph Amwa, and so about Professor on his student in the education common address of Yankoti seminar or the 2 Jan Ebi.
We have had meetings with your leadership. The issue is that, I repeat, the issue is that we have constituted a committee at the instance of the Honorable Minister. We want you to be part of the committee so that it will not be as if you come, somebody tells you something, you go here and say another person, you want it to be part of the committee to know what is happening.
Essentially, the understanding is that is to stall the process. Because
it is not to stall the process, it's a process going on. It doesn't take just a day to get the money.
You showed them 2 weeks ago.
So now, if a committee is going to be formed, until when are you going to receive our allowances? Now we are not agreeing to anything. We are staying here. Now for the committee, our people will be packed. Now let them go and bring our money.
Say how many penny for akudin komo. Now so the student can say Sikano almost can and yadia omu free a ministry at the Ako. Me am the report bro the Ministry of Sanitation, Water Resources meeting at the Prince Owusu Esiedu Adom TV.
Yanko Shiashie na yenuanmo womo aba abo won sese ewo ho no mo sese ene jato womo dan hodo a womo titimo ewo ho ya bra make say penifo bia ma ho meboa womo kire se nsentrefo yakora ne yesu jagumo se da bia womo tene nya papa illegal connection ni ade no nti ene obi amfi wo modo wakosem atuja.
Eni pepi ena nanu ada ejahyehe ekoso ewo Shiashie no eja won mu amasisi oni baabi ate na nei ena wate won agu montene so ede kire se eja hyehe no eha won mu pa yi omanfo yi kire mu a ensamtwerefo awodo a ba honom no wanka asem ni yi a mo esan se ekowi ase no de so wabo mo se won na enam so ema eja no ebaaye o kire mu a enam nsema ensamtwerefo kekafa won hunti emo anka wo se wonya kora wanya esan se enipa ba se ahansia ana sese woni baabi ti a won nam montene so oni Adom Kasee atwetwe nkomo no de tu dwa se onipa osusu se eja no efiri ne fie ene baaye no wahya ase a wone nsamtwerefo didi nkomo a wakeka nsam edigu enipa foforo so ne senti ana ma wone anka wo so hu won mobo nyina etwe won esan no
ese me na sister no ni ho nti o meti neni ana me si tambe na sister we baaye nti ade ne chem se pie me pie ye na ana ma hu se ogina ho naked mini no kura ye nkasa me ba ho 3 days na odi me kuye na mpenifo bi frame se sa na ne subanti iti mama mbe ho mama finu but me pie ya ma ho se oh oya me sister peninu mi ntimi nkasa me ni nkasa ntimi mane ntuma na wa me hunu na me yidi bone mu na osa ko rade ho na me frame kunu se pie na eja aba ho me frame kunu se on pie nti eja aba me kunu pie ya nsuo na apeja aye no na odi guje no mu na me si debi se na aja we aye no nsuo ndumu no nti on jai wasa ko rade no mu no ehọ na me kunu tehwe ye pot na soja iti mi tie ma me frɛ no saa ehọ na we ebra sa bra na ɔte hɔ no na ɔte ye sɛ me frɛ me kunu ehọ na mu nyina mu pie freedom ne sister we ehọ na obi apie nsuo but omo ba ye no na omo abɛfrɛ no nko a na omo aye ni interview ba ye nya ni sa wabeka nsɛm fufuro kura wabeka nsɛm fufuro kura iti ye pamucho
se da ke osuma ye ni nipa and Crahada won't me high a free chrome and I have me so many mammy, mammy, wage me. Papa, this year, I see me, mammy, papa. If you answer a near now, oh, yeah, now, my baby. Me, my dear, me the Felicia, or be me, my court Felicia for sure, my cotton machine for crash at Dacum, as she. Me da ho na Sandra ye obi mo me na me sorry pie ya me bisa Sandra dasem o se ni socket no apeja eti brother bi to me so na okobon ne pom se nshira kanya me isi bra na owu yank wo kwa. I'm a resident here and I'm telling the whole Shiashie that we are in support. When this thing came and this thing happened, Honorable Lydia came and help us. John Domelo came. John Domelo came. Professor Ayete came. They're in charge of Presby. They came forward and they help us. And we are grateful and Calvary Chapel and Pentecost and Agape. They came and help us. We were in need. We were crying. Our children don't have dress to wear. We ourselves don't have dress to wear. We cried the whole day. So if one person can do this, and the person will get away with this, and the person will run away, the government should stand up. Otherwise, we won't give up. They should let the girl come. They should investigate the land. They should investigate the fire. We want the truth to come to pass. They should investigate the fire so that we will know, because they say she packed all her things.
Hold on. Have you?
Premotobre Kasee. And I will Osha Adom TV. So Yantoso na Yamungra ye and some for emu dia. COVID-19 and then hunia may show paya dia edumakotene. Fisoba ho sado door and no ebuana fe wonum be so edika ho na nkrotu numbi e wate bubu mensimu obunu Easter womto musini. Omo sempeni for mumra na mama won su papa nom on so apomoden enyina yi.
Ensuo ya ade a ehuhia pa e COVID-19 brɛ mu. Ensuo pa e de apomode mapa e na brɛ onipa abrabɔ. Nanso enkro bɛsɛ num a ɛwɔ atebubu mansini a ɛwɔ bono epoye mantam mu de ente saa wɔ hɔ. Bɛsɛ bosome mienu e na Adom Kasee ama ne boni ko fori e de betu dwa sɛ enkro ahodo bi te sɛ tuse mempa asɛm zongo number 2 tuaboba ene amanfrom de. Ensuo a wɔnom no ɔne moa e te sɛ nantwie ene mprako e na ɛkyɛ. Ɔmanfo wɔnom ekyire mu a esan sɛ ensuo a wɔnom enye papa no ɔne moa na enum nti. Edi ɔhaw e na brɛ wɔn apomodin. Nanso woni nsuo pa obabi a wokwa no munti etwa se ehwa na wose nsuo sama ne boya Adom Kasee edi to dwa yi na ama Madam for Ghana Foundation aye adwumaku a yɛnhya abayase akosi abura enum edi amasa nkuri e wa tebu mansin mu abra wanye won hwe Adom Kasee ne omanfo bi a wote wo etwetwe nkomo no di to dwa se ɔhawa na ofa mu e won nsuo ho no sese die eto etwa esan se ema ene mofra eni se otwa kwansini pi ansa na wanya nsuo pa ano
wantem ha ensuo no na yetimi kosa ewo ntuse no ntuse nsuo soso ya saba ya ne mboa na enom ye kwa na twi nom mboa nom na yetimi akosa sa nsuo no se nsuo to soso nsuo firi ba ire bore fi nyina aba be wuro ye turubu no na yasa nti ha entem ha ye wo ha bebere nsuo ho se bi oprako nom mponche nom na ntwe nom ema ye yafu yaro pi ena eden ede brae da omo asepa se ye benya nsupa no ye benya nsupa ya aduane ye bibia ye benya nsupa nso ofin de ye na ho nye den enkwasa biem nso ye be bɔ mpa ye se de be ya ye so ebetimi ahwɛ so yie ama boa ye nyina nyame aye Adom a enam Madam for Ghana so ama area no yeso yatimi anya nsuo ebe ma ye mua bebre enwechi ena bunopo ye mantamu so afo honorable Kofi Amoakohene ebo NGO yaba so se waba be ye sa adoyi edi ama nkura hodoyi
2017 precisely March na every say ebia e grow nanso betu anamo ababo hwe the need anase hia wo hia na ofata sebobo a sa e community na babo tutunso bebre ede amaye ye kan ho abaako enum na ohunu tank ya osisi ho ya baako bia 1000 liter ente say mienu ye 20,000 and multiply by 5 we are looking up to over 10,000 liters of water. There be a Baba Pompe Adiama, the entire community. Nina Nifako. Now we by a beautiful extension from one point to the other.
Opanyipa abedi akyire ede ma Madam for Ghana Foundation and Inokatipo Sunday no di tuja se abura wotuma sa enkuro yi epem Ghana cedi empema ha aduosunum ahensia ne aduonum baako na de bia so nsuododo a wobetimi asa eye liter empem aduowotwe na afi nso ototo sre omanfo se ebeya anka wommoa no wondi nsuo ni ni se de beya ebetimi akyere ama wo mo
juma ye se nsuo ka ho na I think before the application, I'm assembly carbon the application bread say so pensuo na etu na mo buy na in fact maybe sense no ni nantwie ni esabe preko na num so ba ko and the car ya say na say dey so ye betimi aboa ba ye na ho no so nti dey betimi ya na say betimi to nsuo 5 borehole na ye to a community 5 mo